Welcome back to my channel, Down the Rabbit Hole News. I am the Rabbit. Look, we are going to talk a little bit about what is going on with Yolanda Saldivar. Did you all know that it's about 17 to 18 months before she's eligible for parole? We going to get into this article that the messenger wrote. They had an interview with one of Yolanda Saldivar's family members, all right? And I just had to say something because, the person in there is saying, she's not who she was back in 1995 and yada, 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 yada. She has changed. She deserves to be eligible for parole, and I get the lady has served her time. But to me, there has always been this arrogance of Yolanda Saldivar that between 1990, when the murder happened, to every year or every other year, this lady has consistently done interviews. It didn't even matter with who exactly. She'll do interviews with just about anybody. She did this interview in 1998. And a lot of the rumors and defamation of character from Selena happened from Yolanda. Nobody else was speaking ill of Selena but Yolanda Saldivar. So you murdered her, and now you're going to talk shit about her, and she's done it strategically for so many years, right? Well, let's watch this just to give everybody a memory, 1998 memories. Y'all remember what you were doing in 1998? I think I was in middle school or about to go to high school, if I remember correctly. Let's play this.
Yolanda Saldivar is serving a life sentence for the murder of Selena Quintanilla-Pérez.
You understand the loss of her to her fans,
It's tremendous. And not only to them, but to me.
but they want to know why you killed her.
I won't discuss that.
Why not?
Because the truth is not out.
So tell it.
Remember, she was claiming that she shot her by accident for the longest time. And they asked her, do you know the loss of this? Like how this must have been to her fans and whatnot, whatnot. It's tremendous. And to me too, bitch, you killed her. Girl, you killed her. What are you talking about? You killed her.
What?
Not in a court of law.
You've had your day in court. Why didn't you tell it then?
I was not given an opportunity to defend myself.
Mm.
I was represented, which is different.
Yolanda, at that time, your life depended on it. If there is this information,
Being represented, is that not the same as like defending yourself? Having somebody to defend you? Like if you're represented by an attorney, isn't that the representation that is supposed to defend you? It's the word games. And I feel personally, I don't know, it's been 28 plus years since this has happened. Y'all think she really has changed? I'm kind of curious. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
that if it doesn't exonerate you, at least gives context as to why Selena Quintanilla is dead, why would you not have demanded that that be presented in court to spare your life?
If I knew then what I know now, you can rest assured that my trial wouldn't have gone the way it is, or that it was.
What does that mean?
I can assure you that.
During the course of a 2-hour interview, Yolanda was continually evasive,
Of course.
bolstering the public image that she's clever, cunning, and manipulative. While her conviction is on appeal, Yolanda's reluctance to answer certain questions is understandable. But then, as the interview continues, she jumps at an opportunity to supposedly tell all.
This is a letter that your family has said you received here in prison. Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Behind the Music was given 2 letters by the Saldivar family prior to this interview. They are allegedly from a man named Lorenzo Salinas, who Yolanda says she and Selena met while doing business in Mexico in early '95. The Texas Department of Corrections confirms the letters were mailed from outside the prison. But during an exhaustive 7-month investigation, Behind the Music was unable to find Lorenzo Salinas or confirm his existence.
For all we know, the family, some of her family members could have sent those letters to concoct some type of, I don't know, plot line, storyline to give idea that it was potentially the situation, that might have caused her death or whatever. There was a setup to her. Here's the deal. The day that this happened, this lady locked herself in her car and put the gun in her head, and she was crying and saying, I couldn't believe I did this to my friend. I can't believe I did this. I don't deserve to live. She confessed herself to this crime. Nobody else but she did. The bullet that came out of that was from Selena to this it came out of this woman's gun. There was nothing else to it.
Tells me exactly what I've been saying all along.
Which is what?
That he feels his conscience is killing him because he knows the truth, and he knows that he feels that, or he thinks that I have things that will eventually say it all. And
Do you?
yes,
Yolanda claims that 2 weeks prior to the murder, she discovered videotapes damaging to Selena's career, and that she had a diary of Selena's that corroborated information on the tapes.
She always has claimed to have had information or no more or whatever. Even if this lady was Selena's confidant, what could you say that would have, like, why did it have to cost her her life? That's my question. Why?
In his purported letter, Lorenzo Salinas claims he was hired to beat up Yolanda, to retrieve the tapes and diary as part of a plot to extort Selena. Yolanda claims she was attacked, but managed to get away.
You know where those tapes are now.
exactly.
You know where that diary is now.
I know where they're at.
Yolanda contends they remain where she stashed them, in a safe deposit box in Monterrey, Mexico.
Why is that information significant to the death of Selena Quintanilla?
Because that is many of the things that were discussed that day. It was not about the embezzlement. It was not about no upsets fan or being fired. It had nothing to do with that.
Of course it did.
What Yolanda won't explain is why, if she was protecting Selena, she instead killed her.
Yolanda's state of mind is an issue in this case.
San Antonio attorney Ramiro Estrada has been retained by the Saldivar family. He says while the information in Mexico may not exonerate Yolanda, it will somehow shed light on her state of mind in the days leading up to the murder. Estrada hopes the alleged evidence will open the door for a second trial and a reduced sentence.
I think Yolanda knows that she needs this information to be found.
Yolanda
And so, if that is the case, where is this evidence? It doesn't even matter at this point. I don't know.
retrieved the supposed evidence, and Behind the Music accompanied him to Monterrey, Mexico.
Isn't there a chance, maybe even a pretty good chance, that Yolanda's lying to us about this evidence?
Well, I think anything's possible.
Yes.
But it would serve no purpose. It would not help her to be perpetrating a lie.
Yolanda and the Saldivar family directed Estrada to more than a half dozen different bank locations.
I don't see what good it would do for her to be sending this on a wild goose chase. I mean, it's certainly not going to help her in the trial.
But a wild goose chase it proved to be. There was no safe deposit box, no tape, no diary, no evidence.
You're disappointed that this evidence hasn't been found.
Sure.
What if it doesn't even exist? And is it supposed to change was it ever supposed to change what happened to Selena? Like, was it supposed to shed some light into what, like, I guess I don't know, guys. I don't know.
Sure I am.
Following the trip, Estrada revealed he intends to remove himself from Yolanda's case. Whether the extortion plot, videotapes, and diary are fact or Yolanda's fiction remains unknown, and may never be known, as Yolanda reveals in one smug answer.
I guess I'll take it to my grave.
In San Antonio, Yolanda Saldivar, a 31-year-old nurse who frankly didn't like Tejano music until she saw Selena perform, started a fan club.
You're in your early 30s, you have a career as a nurse. Fan clubs are usually for people who are a lot younger. What was compelling you to do it?
Going through my college years, I had no social life. I had none because I devoted myself through my university, my career, my license. Now it was time for me to have fun.
So tell me about your first meeting.
I was like meeting Whitney Houston.
At first, they don't see each other often, essentially only when Selena plays San Antonio.
I was their gopher, so to speak, in San Antonio.
But you loved it.
Yes.
There was a touch of celebrity
Well, actually,
in San Antonio, Texas.
well, not only that, but it was because my friends. It was Suzette and it was Selena. I did it for them.
But you had to have enjoyed the fact that your friends were becoming such celebrities.
Well, that too.
At one time, my whole family liked Yolanda.
Mm.
You know, we would invite her to come eat at our house. You know, we'd have a get-togethers and we'd invite her.
It was that our friendship had grown from being just a fan celebrity type to this personal type of relationship.
When Selena made the decision to open up the boutiques, she needed someone to run them. And there was Yolanda, her trusted friend who would never let her down, who was always there for her.
And I'm the one that suggested.
Wow. It is so amazing to see this like play back. So Abraham suggested it, and then finds out about the embezzlement and all this stuff. And then here's this lady, kills her, still proclaiming her innocence. Does she still proclaim her innocence? Is that going to be part of their eligibility board questioning? Do you still proclaim? Do you feel like you're innocent here? Do you feel like, there's some other setup? Are you going to be sending people on wild goose chases to go find tapes and diaries, and which were never found, by the way? Never. There have been docu-series that have been redone over and over, retelling the story of Selena. And although I understand that the intent is to educate a much younger generation, a much younger Latino generation about Selena, it's kind of sad to me because people tend to twist the story. And at the end of the day, like, do we really know the story? Myself as a young fan that looked up to her, did I ever really know her? No. But I knew what I saw on TV. I knew the entertainment. I knew some of the pictures that I had from concerts and stuff. Like, I know what I grew up to see. Not all this other back and forth stuff, all this secretive stuff. Um, and that is maybe what Abraham Quintanilla has always tried to conserve um, for his family. Just crazy.
Well, what about that girl that runs the fan club in San Antonio? She looks pretty, like a nice person. And that's how Yolanda came into the picture.
It was then that she hired me in '94.
Even though you had no business experience.
Even though I had no business experience, no.
She didn't know anything about retail, and that's basically, come on, you need retail 101 to manage a retail space.
And I think that that's where things started unraveling.
Both Martin Gomez and Yolanda agree that from the very beginning, they are at each other's throat, not just about business, but over access to Selena. Gomez contends the stage was being set for Selena to be deceived and controlled by an obsessive Yolanda.
She's made it very clear to me that in order for me to speak to her, to speak to Selena, I have to go by her.
He started seeing that his contact with Selena was becoming less and less.
Martin says that the reason his time was less and less is because you were becoming obsessed with Selena.
That's not true.
Yolanda derived her popularity with people because of her association with Selena. And if anyone else was going to get closer to to Selena or get her ear, that was a threat to Yolanda. And by virtue of being the creator of these designs, Martin Gomez was a threat.
By now, Gomez says Yolanda was trying to wrest control of Selena's life.
It was neurotic. It was neurotic and it was strange. Fanatical. Selena would come to visit, and then she'd leave and she goes, "Oh, I miss her." I go, "She just left."
She didn't want to be bothered. Martin can understand that.
So you're assuming a bigger role.
Definitely.
Could that role be construed as becoming obsessed?
Ooh, so she was trying to dictate who was going to have contact with who, when Selena. Uh, yeah, she became obsessed. I would say so. I would say she became obsessed. I mean, what do you guys think? It's kind of scary to see her face from 1998 and even her smile, her smirking. Um, God, I wonder what she's like now, right?
I don't know where people are getting this, that I'm obsessed with Selena. It was a duty that she expected me to do. And I had to do it.
I was starting to recognize her just basically being controlling and trying to manipulate Selena. I was starting to, I was trying to identify that. And more than anything, I was going to Abraham with the information.
See, you got to understand that Martin and Yolanda are like two old women bickering at each other.
While that bickering must certainly be wearing on Selena, Abraham stays clear of it and had no problem with Yolanda until the beginning of 1995.
Is that the beginning of the end of your
Exactly.
relationship with Abraham?
That becomes the fury of it all.
That fury is about to spill over.
You have vilified Dr. Martinez, Abraham Quintanilla. Why weren't those the people that were attacked? Why your best friend?
There was never an intentional to kill Selena. Never. There was never an intention to do anything wrong to Abraham either, or Dr. Martinez.
So why bring a gun to a meeting? I think she knew she was going to be let go. She was going to be fired. She was going to be done with. They had already decided. They could have. Why bring a gun to this meeting? Why pull out the gun? Why pull the trigger on it? Why get in your truck and then put the gun on your head and then say what you said? Why?
My intention was to relieve myself from all of that.
You were going to kill yourself.
Yes.
But why did you end up killing your best friend?
I didn't kill her.
She has always maintained that. She has always maintained that she didn't kill her. So I wanted to start with this little 1998 interview, and she has done so many interviews after, but to show kind of like that she has never really changed, right? She's up for parole. Let me take you guys to the next part of this video. Well, we're going to talk about the family interview and all the stuff that the article that the messenger wrote with the interview. So a family member of Yolanda Saldivar, who is now 62, is saying that Yolanda is a different person after spending nearly 30 years in prison and hopes to be released in 2025. For those that don't know who Yolanda Saldivar is, she is the woman who was the fan club president for Selena Fan Club, and she was convicted in 1995 for the murder of Selena Quintanilla. In 1995, I was in grade school, and when she passed away, it was a huge hit for a lot of little girls that looked up to Selena, myself included. Girl, I used to be singing all these Selena songs. You give me a mic, and I could probably sing all of them. I think I know all of them memorized, everything. Everything. We all wanted to be a Selena, basically. So this reporter had an interview with a member of Yolanda Saldivar and published this article that says Yolanda Saldivar, the woman serving of Tejano music singer Selena Quintanilla-Pérez, is eligible for parole in 18 months. She's hoping to finally be released from prison. She's a different person than she was in 1995, one of Saldivar's relatives told the messenger. She would like to be paroled. Saldivar, now 62, was convicted of first-degree murder in Selena's shooting death more than 28 years ago. She's serving a life sentence in Mountain View, a female prison in Gatesville, Texas. Her parole eligibility date is March 30th of 2025. Wow, to think that that's literally pretty close. I cannot believe it's been this long. According to court documents, Selena confronted Saldivar, then the founder of her fan club, on March 31st, 1995. Saldivar had embezzled more than 60,000 from the singer, who was planning to fire her. During the confrontation, Saldivar shot and killed Selena. At trial, attorney for Saldivar claimed that the shooting was accidental and she had meant to kill herself. The murder sent shockwaves throughout Selena's fan base. The 23-year-old was on the verge of crossover success when she was gunned down. Her first posthumous album, Dreaming of You, hit #1 on the Billboard charts and went double platinum. In 1997, a biopic was a critical and box office success and became a breakout role for Jennifer Lopez. To be honest with you, I don't think we would have known, at least in the Latino community, who J-Lo was if it wasn't for this movie. A lot of people like to argue about that. I'm just telling you. And nobody know who J-Lo was. I know she was in Living Color, but I'm just being honest with you. She wasn't well known in the Latino, especially in the Mexican music. She just wasn't. I remember in when they were having tryouts for the Selena movie. My goodness, this is like amazing that I still remember some of this. People were traveling to these sites to go try out for the Selena movie. There was a lot of good contenders out there. J Lo was picked. I believe Bibi Gaitan was another actress, Mexican actress. There were several actresses that were trying out for the role or that were thought to be perfect for this role. And yeah, it was a huge thing, but definitely this movie gave J Lo a name. Saldivar's relatives say she will file necessary paperwork to the parole board in hopes that she will be freed after the eligibility date in March of next year. She thinks it's time, the relative says. She's been in jail for almost 30 years. It won't be Saldivar's first bid for freedom. She appealed her conviction 3 times, most recently just 3 years ago. According to documents obtained by the messenger, Saldivar filed a writ of habeas corpus in 2019, arguing that her detention was unlawful. Saldivar, who was representing herself, argued that the prosecution had withheld exculpatory material evidence that would have been favorable for her defense, thus preventing her from having a fair trial. Her motion was denied. She also filed a 2017 civil suit against the Department of Corrections seeking 50,000 in compensation for pain and suffering, physical injuries, and emotional distress. In the lawsuit, she alleged that she fell off the top bunk and her cell was unsafe. The lawsuit was thrown out of federal court. But now Salivar is betting on parole, hoping that her age and medical conditions will help her become a free woman again. According to court docs, she's clinically obese and taking both heart and thyroid medications. She can never change what happened, Saldivar's family member says, but she thinks it's time to get out of prison. Well, isn't that what everybody in prison says? It's time for me to get out? I would, a survey would say yes. Look, I'm going to tell you this. I She has been there for many, many years. And one thing she has done is consistently defame the character of Selena. She has done interviews after interviews with Univision, with Telemundo, with ABC News, with all of these networks that will have her. And her aim has always been to defame the character, to tarnish the character of the Quintanilla family, the Perez family. Selena's image, right? I remember that there was a time, and I don't know if any of this is true, right? Where it was allegedly said that Selena was having an affair on Chris Perez with a surgeon in Mexico. And Yolanda Saldivar ran that rumor and she co signed it. There was a rumor of Selena being pregnant. Yolanda Saldivar ran that rumor as well. There have been so many rumors that Yolanda Saldivar has from prison co signed the bullshit, right? She has. Let's just be real. She has. And she is, her versions of events she also talked a lot about the father and even Abraham Quintanilla, which I think a lot of people he has been very protective of his daughter's image, very quick to file lawsuits. I know that there was a civil suit between Chris Perez, um, Selena's then husband, um, who wanted, I guess, to write a book or wanted to do something, and he was very quick to try to sue. I haven't really been a fan of a lot of Mr. Abraham Quintanilla's techniques, but I've always felt like he has done it in order to make sure that his daughter, he has been protective overprotective of his daughter's image and story. And he has always been the one to carry that in terms of holding her legacy high. People have speculated a lot of rumors, and a lot of rumors have been by what Yolanda Saldivar has alleged behind bars, and she has consistently done it. So to me, it's like, okay, if she's eligible for parole, all right. It might be time. We'll leave that up to the parole board. We'll leave that up to them. Personally, if you kill one of mines, you kill my family, I hope you rot in jail. I hope it's never time. But that's just me, right? And for me, Selena, who's someone who really thrived, knowing that a lot of girls, little girls like myself at the time, looked up to her, listened to her music. Um, it's a very sad situation to even know like that she's even eligible. Just my thoughts. Just my thoughts. I really do hope that I don't know how I feel about her coming out. And not only that, man, I mean, Texas, Corpus Christi, Corpus, and all these other places, like a lot of people do not want Yolanda Saldivar out. They don't. I don't think she would be safe. I'm gonna be quite honest with you. I don't know how she's doing in jail, if she's safe in there, if anybody's, been buddies with her, but I just don't think she's safe, and I don't think she would be safe out. I also don't see a inch of remorse with anything that she has ever done, with the crimes which she took from society, what she took from the Quintanilla family, what she took from the music industry. There's so much that Selena was about to do. That man, she would have made us Mexican Americans really freaking proud. Like, it's just sad, in my opinion. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you feel like, all right, she served her time, her family wants her home. If she's eligible for parole, let the lady file for parole. Do you feel like, nope, she should stay and rot in jail? She's not remorseful. She did a lot while she was in jail. She's defaming characters. The person that she murdered, yeah, and then try to say it wasn't her, it was an accident, and that has been reenacted a couple times. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'll see you guys on the next one. Rabbits out.